foundation. So Usis has unpacked the importance of trying to figure out and researching what career you're going to get to, especially in grade 11 and grade 12, where you must start looking for bursaries, you must start looking at different career paths, and we have just the perfect person to speak to you about this. We're honored to have Dr. Bulelwa Keke. And she is a science education specialist who's passionate about empowering the youth from diverse backgrounds to be able to dream big and reach their potential. Her background is in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is STEM education. And she started her career as a physical sciences and life sciences, and then later moved into academia, spending 15 years as a lecturer at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. And during her tenure at UKZN, she completed her master's and her doctoral degree in science education, all the while raising 4 kids. She then later moved into the corporate environment, joining Sasol as an education specialist and manager for tertiary programs spanning undergraduate bursaries and postgraduate scholarship programs. Clearly somebody with a passion for education and clearly somebody with a passion for the youth. Dr. Bulelwa Keke, Mama, so good to have you. Welcome to the Future Global Leaders Club.
Well, thank you for having me, Oloitu. I'm so excited to be here. I'm chatting on the side with Umamuzilwa, and yeah, I'm in complete awe with you guys. I was just saying that if I had gotten this kind of pep talk just before I started university, this was like 33 years ago, I think I would have come out with distinctions. I would have gotten my degree cum laude, if you know what I mean. So I just say, there's lots of trailblazers in this webinar. But let me just start off, Oloitu, by greeting all our future movers and shakers, the future global leaders. It's an understatement to say I'm excited to be part of today's webinar. I mean, today isn't just about gathering information, it's about igniting that fire, within each one of the FGLs to strive for excellence and to chase your dreams relentlessly, and to unlock that full potential which is within all of the leaders. And I mean, I think Khali touched on this. She spoke about how in this journey, you are an architect of your own future. And in the journey ahead, you will encounter challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But remember, within every challenge, there is an opportunity for growth. Within every setback, there is a lesson to be learned, and within every moment of doubt lies that chance to discover your true inner strength. So I implore each one of you FGLs to embrace the power of your dreams and really commit yourselves to excellence in everything you do. And I want to do a special shout out to the visionary and the trailblazer, Lihlezilwa. You rock, my girl. I just want to say it. And another special shout out also to Khali. Like I said, I wish I had gotten this pep 33 years ago. But well done on that inspirational talk. So let's get started with the careers of the future. I feel like I'm speaking to the converted already. So Luvugo, you can please put up the presentation for us. And we can get going. But I feel like I'm talking to the converted already with this conversation. So as indicated in my profile, I actually work for Sasol. And those of you who are not familiar with the company, we are a chemicals and energy company. And I would recommend that you visit the Sasol website just to get to understand what we do, because I've got 30 minutes only to talk with you today. But today's talk really is on careers of the future. And there's lots of interesting careers that are emerging, which you guys could take advantage of going forward. So you can move to the next slide, Lezuko. Yeah, perhaps don't go to the slide. Let's go back to the previous slide. I just want to tease some of you on what your understanding of STEM is. What does it stand for? I mean, we've mentioned it. So if you see any hands, yes, I see Nandipa. Nandipa, please shoot your shot. Let's hear you out.
Greetings to all people here. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and maths.
Fantastic, fantastic. However, we want to unpack what's in that technology. For instance, we might know what science what science disciplines include, but not all of them. And I mean, the list just getting longer, you know, which is why I say there's lots of opportunities for you. So well done, Nandipa. So we can go to the next slide and just unpack what the STEM careers involved. And I mean, this is the future. This is where the future lies. We're not saying don't go into non-STEM degrees, but listen, if you want to remain relevant in the next future, in the near future, you need to stay within STEM. And these are really disciplines that are in science that would include a range of degrees such as biochemistry, biophysics, environmental science, hydrology, geoscience, all of those, including medicine, of course, under science. And then you have technology. And I mean, there's lots of emerging disciplines within the technology field. I mean, we know that artificial intelligence is taking over now, you know, cybersecurity is the thing. So computer sciences, your industrial design, information technology, those are some of a few of the technologies that we are going to cover in our talk today. Then we have engineering. Listen, the scope here is also very wide, you know. I don't even want to start mentioning some of the engineering disciplines that you can explore. But the range is really quite wide. And then we have maths. Now, under maths, we include all the mathematical disciplines, not just mathematics as you know it at school. But if you want to go to disciplines such as data science, statistics, and then your applied mathematical sciences, you would those all include your maths discipline. So when you apply at university, it's not called maths. So you would need to look for data science. Some universities will actually group these disciplines under mathematical sciences. So you need to actually be on the lookout for them. If you could go to the next slide. Thank you. So, I mean, we used to say the sky is the limit. But I just think with this endless possibility, the sky is not even the limit. Here, it is just the beginning. And we all need to dream big. Thanks. The next slide. So we're going to have a look at some of the disciplines that are emerging in the space. Some of them have been there for a while. For example, you could become an architect. You know, architecture has been there for a while. So I want to sort of quiz throughout my presentation because I know you have some of those answers. So if there's anybody in the room that knows what an architecture does, please raise your hand and just give us a sense of what you would do as an architect. Any ideas? Ah, Nandipa, looks like you're on fire today.
So an architect is a person who designs buildings and they plan how to construct a certain building, and maybe they can supervise. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely, you are spot on. Those are designers. So you will notice that in most of these disciplines, if you are in STEM, you actually are in charge of the design. You know, you develop systems, you design systems, you know, and it means that there's endless opportunities for you to innovate, you know, which is quite an exciting position to be in rather than, so we don't want to be taking solutions from the shelves. We don't want to go to America and take solutions from China, Japan, and all of that. So we're hoping that with these disciplines, you guys can develop our own African and South African systems, you know, and solutions to problems of the country. So you are quite right there, Nandipa. Then you have, you can follow a discipline, a study degree in geoscience, which covers a bit of geology as well. But when you become a geoscientist, it means now you're a professional. So you can start off by doing geology, and then you register as a professional geologist, and you become a geoscientist. And so obviously there's a lot of studies of rocks and just the earth systems, understanding natural resources, how we must conserve natural resources now and into the future, okay? So I'm going to quiz you on the immunologist because, there are clues there, all right? So if anyone thinks they have an idea of if you were to become an immunologist, what would you be doing? Avetandwa? Avetandwa, please unmute yourself and give us a sense of what an immunologist would do. Okay, I don't think, are there any other hands? Who's going to help me with the hands? The Cindy Swa? Sisonke, any one of you guys can unmute and give us a sense. Cindy Swa, I see you are unmuted.
Victoria.
Okay, there are basically like research scientists that like analyze or study how to treat like diseases that involve basically like the immune system.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, but remember, you need to qualify as a doctor first. So you would go through the medical degree first and then specialized once you complete your degree. So was that Cindy Swa or Avetando who gave the answer? Cindy Swa, hey? Yeah, no, absolutely right. But you go through the medical degree first. Once you complete the medical degree, then you become a specialist for diseases of the immune system, and you're called an immunologist. How about the hydrometallurgist? Anyone with ideas there? Sisonke? Sisonke? Any ideas? Or anyone else? Just shout, eh?
Hello, ma'am.
Someone who's unmuted?
My name is Lusango Mbongo.
Hi, Lusango.
What I think a hydrometeorologist is, well, since it speaks about water, I believe it's the study of how liquids in general can help us in science, since hydrology, which is hydrogen, water itself has many uses, and liquids themselves also have many uses in science.
Okay, all right. What about the metallurgy part? Who knows what metallurgy part? What do metallurgists do? Because you can become a metallurgy engineer, for instance. So you got the first part right because hydro means water. So in science we call it aqueous solutions. So what about metallurgist? What does a metallurgist do?
Well, metallurgists, I think it uses water into materials, certain materials.
Yes.
When we were in primary, we used to do the hydraulic jack. I think once built it. So I think metallurgist is just using water by hydraulic water into material.
Yes, yes. And what type of materials? What type of materials, Lusango? Do you know, or should I give you clues? Cindy, so do you have clues on what types of metals are we talking about? Examples.
The hydraulic jack.
Okay, so I'm going to give you examples of metals that you can work with as a metallurgist. Things like your gold and your silver. You can work with those metals, but when you are a hydrometallurgist, you actually do your analysis using aqueous solutions, which means it's hydrogen and water mixed. So you got it right there, Lusango partly. Thank you for that. And I'm sure electronics engineering is a discipline that is quite familiar to most of us, hey? What do you think electronics engineers do? Avetandwa? Cindy Swa, any one of you? Cindy, so you are
Ma'am,
muted?
it's
Yes.
Nwaba.
Okay.
Electronic engineering is the part or a branch of engineering, ma'am, that deals with electronical related research, study, and application.
Okay, fantastic. You're spot on. But remember, I said you develop the systems, you actually design the systems. You know, as an engineer, your main role is to design, develop systems, and it could be systems that can be used in electronics, any kinds of electronics. It could be your laptops, it could be cell phones, and all kinds of things. Okay, fantastic. Please move to the next slide. I'm liking this session because, you know, it looks like people have some ideas. So who can attempt to tell us what's the difference between a computer engineer and a computer scientist? So you've completed your matric now, or before you complete your matric, you see a brochure from the University of Pretoria, and they're offering studies in computer engineering. And they're also offering degrees in computer science. Okay, so who knows what the difference is between the two disciplines? Who can attempt this?
Hello, Cici.
Okay, you're not audible. You're not audible, Cindy. So I'm struggling to hear you from my side.
Sorry, hi again.
Yes, that's better.
So my name is Kanye Sibula, and I'm using my teacher's cell phone, right?
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So give it a try then. You wanted to answer the question.
Okay, so the difference between a computer engineer and a computer scientist is that computer engineers design the hardware part. They deal with the hardware, and then the computer scientists, they literally or basically deal with the software, like your database, your coding, your everything that has to do with the language of the computer or the software of the computers. That's what computer scientists deal with. And then computer engineers, they literally deal with the hardware part of computers.
Very good, very good. That was an excellent answer. Well done, well done. Okay, so let's move on. I've put in those disciplines, all three of them together, because there's some relationship. An actuary, a CA, chartered accountant, okay, there's supposed to be one T for chartered accountant, and a statistician, okay? So if you are not, I know you are very young, but we used to have a statistician that used to wear a yellow suit every day, our statistician general. So I'm giving you clues now on what they used, what he used to do. Ebenezer, from, oh, it's the school, it's the Ebenezer school. I see there's a hand raised there, so please shoot your shot. Just tell us what an actuary does, or what a CA does, or what a statistician does. Any of those. Pick any of those. I see there's a hand from Ebenezer School.
Afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, yes, my dear.
My name is Indipile Matasa, and what an actuary does, they analyze financial costs of risk and uncertainty using mathematics, statistics, and financial theory to assess the risk of potential events. Thank you.
Wow, fantastic, fantastic. And a chartered accountant?
A chartered accountant, I'm not really sure, but I think they work with assessing and putting together the financial information of a company.
Can I ask Mam Zila to come in and just tell us what she does? I think she's in chartered accountancy. I know they do a lot of auditing on financial statements.
Are you serious? You want me to answer?
You know, just give us some reality of what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Well, given what I've heard, sorry, let me take off. Okay, is there no echo now?
No, there's no echo, ma'am.
Okay, can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I think I can summarize it to say, given what you have said about STEM,
Yes.
basically people are actually creating the economy, they are innovative. And
Yes.
I think as chartered accountants, we have got to work with each and every person to help them understand the financial implications of the decisions they are taking, of the innovations that they're actually making, and be able to work alongside actuaries, alongside engineers, to make sure that whatever is happening will be financially feasible. And to run the economy, we've got to make sure that there is adequate and accurate reporting of all the information that has taken place in a company, so that if you want to buy shares, you want to know if Pick and Pay is succeeding, you want to know if Discovery Group is doing well, you have a credible set of financial information. And this information needs to be audited. So we also audit as accountants, but you can't do both. You've got to choose to either audit or choose to be the accountant that actually generates the numbers. And this will assist then to make sure that there's credibility in the financial reporting globally. We have got one set of financial reporting globally, so that when you see a company that succeeds in the US, in the UK, and South Africa, you've got the same criteria to measure the success of those companies or the failure thereof.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nezilwa. So I'm gonna record you. I'm gonna come and record you. We've got a video at Sasol. We've got videos that we play. So I'm gonna share a website. We actually feature all kinds of expertise. So it would be nice to just record you on a video called A Day in the Life of a Chartered Accountant. I hope you'll agree to that, and we'll put it online so that kids can get that information. So that information is accessible to everybody. But thank you so much for that. And just the last one. Thank you, Mazila. And then the statistician, any ideas? But they do analysis, really. They work with data. Like Mamzula indicated, they also work with actuaries, but also a little bit with statisticians who do analysis of data. We can move on to the next slide. Let's see what comes up. Okay, so I actually like this slide because, I mean, these are degrees that never existed in the last few years. You know, so this is something absolutely new. Cybersecurity scientist, a virtual reality developer. We even have augmented reality developers, a data scientist, a software developer. And I mean, we spoke about software development. Who knows what a cybersecurity scientist would do? Any ideas what, I mean, this is a top skill at Sasol. We are looking for graduates with cybersecurity skills. Yes, Mbalenhle?
I'm not sure if I'm right, but this is what I think they do. I think cybersecurity is kind of protect personal data of, like, it could be data of maybe companies, of individuals online, and make sure that it's not used in a wrong way.
You are absolutely correct, Mbalenhle. I mean, there are lots of scammers that are always waiting to pounce either on businesses or on banks, our bank accounts, and just about everywhere we have to safeguard our information, personal information. So cybersecurity is becoming one of the top skills required, you know. And obviously you can go through an IT degree and then later on major in cybersecurity, because there's very few universities that are offering a degree in cybersecurity as a standalone. Okay, but we're hoping that in the next 3-4 years, there'll be universities in South Africa and abroad already offering undergraduate degrees in cybersecurity and virtual reality. I mean, you can see the glasses there, those VR glasses. And what about a data scientist? Because this is also a critical skill. Who knows what a data scientist does? It's one of the top 4 skills at the moment. Kungawo, I see you are unmuted, or Victoria Masilo. Any one of you can come in?
Hi, ma'am.
Yes, hi.
So basically, a data scientist, right? It's
Yes,
basically
yes.
somebody that like and uses data to like understand and like organizations to like make better decisions. Like they'll basically like analyze the data and yeah, they understand it to make like better decisions for the future, if that makes sense.
Yes, no, absolutely. So remember I said these disciplines basically involve a lot of design, a lot of development of systems. So data scientists also develop systems. So there's a data scientist and there's a data analyst. So data scientists will develop systems and approaches for analysis of data, you know, strategies for how the data can be approached. And then a data analyst does the actual analysis. So you got it partly wrong. So for instance, you know that Python is used a lot in data analysis, but the data scientist must then develop the code for Python and other models that are used in analyzing data. We can move on to the next slide. You can go and also just check up on some of these degrees, you know, read more on it. And then we've got aerospace engineers. Okay, so someone who's interested in this aerospace engineering, I know is in the room. Who knows what aerospace engineers? I mean, the picture is a tell-all. It's telling. What do these guys do? I see there's still a hand from Victoria, but there's 2 others. Don't know if there's someone else that can come in. Balentle, okay. Buko, maybe let's try Buko.
Okay.
Oh, Balentle, you can come in, Balentle, if you've got an answer.
Okay, ma'am. I feel or I believe that aerospace engineers are the people who design and, can I say, make airplanes
Yeah, aircrafts,
and
yes.
ensure that they're going to be safe when they're in the sky and make all those tests to make sure that it's a very safe and high quality airplane.
Yes, absolutely. So they design, develop aircrafts and spacecrafts, including spacecrafts. I think they also design missiles and all of those things, you know. So it's quite an interesting career to follow as well. And what about robotics engineer? So so that picture that I'm showing there of a robotics engineer is actually a guy from Nigeria. He's the highest paid robotics engineer in the world. You know, he's only 25. Let's see, I've got some hands as well. Is it Latif? Or am I pronouncing your word incorrectly?
Hello.
Hello.
A robotics engineer is someone who designs, builds, tests, and maintains robots.
Okay, no, fantastic. And I mean, we are in the world of robots now, you know, just about anything and everything is controlled by robots, you know, not, we're not talking traffic lights, okay? We're talking robots that are used in business and everywhere else. So fantastic. And then on this last one, I'm showing you a picture of a girl from KZN, you know, her name is Senamile Masango. She's from rural KZN. You know, she went to a rural school. She walked, I don't know how many kilometers to school every day, crossing rivers. She is today a nuclear scientist in South Africa. So I'm curious to know who knows what a nuclear scientist does. Is it Buko? Buko, Lafiga, Sindu. Any ideas what nuclear scientists do?
Molweni, ma'am.
Yes, Molo but
I think a nuclear scientist designs isn't that associated with the nuclear power, such as the grenades and enhancing the military power of that particular country. I think.
yeah, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So you would have had talks about, I think during Zuma's era, he talked about nuclear energy. Okay, so over and above what Lafika has shared with us, you know, nuclear scientists also, they analyze a nuclear system. So you've got to study physics to become a nuclear specialist. So you study physics at university, but then you major in nuclear physics, what is called nuclear physics. So these guys are going to become nuclear scientists are going to come in very handy in the next future because, like I said, during Zuma's era, he spoke about us moving towards nuclear energy. Remember, nuclear energy is also an alternative form of energy, you know. So there's talk that we might revive that agenda now and use nuclear energy as one of our alternatives. So you must look out for this career and go and Google Senamile Masango. You will see she's a trailblazer in this area. Thanks. Can we move on to the next slide? Okay, so I like the fact that we've got an industrial engineer in the room. Khali, so you have to come to our rescue here and tell us what you do as an industrial, well, as a prospective industrial engineer, so that you can inspire others to perhaps follow that dream. Is Khali still in the room?
I'm here.
Yay!
So my broad understanding and also what drove me to industrial is it's very much process optimization and just making things work so much better than they already work.
Yeah.
And it also breaks in a lot of business and management and manufacturing and just pretty much making things just work even more fantastic than they already work and fixing things, but not having to like sit in a lab or build an airplane. So I think that's pretty much my general understanding.
Yeah, you nailed it. So at Sasol, we employ a lot of industrial engineers. Thank you, Khali. You got it right, 100%. We've got a lot of industrial engineers, and the job really is to improve our manufacturing because we do produce a lot of products. You know, they do a lot of maintenance of our production and improving our production system. So you're spot on. Thank you so much for that. I think Lafika, you've got your hand raised. Lafika. I know I've got a Lafika. My friend, my colleague has a child known as Lafika. So sorry about that. Lafika, I see you have your hand raised. You want to answer any of those biomedical engineer? What does a biomedical engineer? I mean, you can see that picture is giving you some clues. Ebenezer School, I see. Please come through, Ebenezer School.
Yep, it's here again. So I can guess what a biomedical engineer does. By thinking of a biostatistician, I think biomedical engineers, they support biostatisticians by having to study. Well, they do not study because it's biostatisticians that study. But I think biomedical engineers, what they do is they tend to do some research.
Okay, we lost Ebenezer School. I don't know if there's anyone else who wants to come in.
Ma'am?
Yes,
biomedical engineers are people or professionals who sort of ma'am, they take engineering, ma'am, and they apply it in the biology and medical context by building systems to better enhance, ma'am, the practice of medicine and biology, so that it's more advanced, more better. For example, they put medical equipment, biological equipment, and so on and so on.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you were to lose your limb today, and you would go to a biomedical engineer to design a prosthetic limb for you, for instance, you know, an artificial a limb for you. And I mean, you would have seen that over the years, these prosthetic limbs are they're artificial, of course, but they can, you know, because they have advanced systems embedded in them, you can actually use them. So you lose your hand, but you get a prosthetic hand that can function as a normal hand. It wouldn't be 100% like a normal hand. So you are right to say, Onwaba, it is to improve medicine, for instance, or human health in general. And the last one, there being environmental engineer. So we know that, I mean, with the change in the climate, we are headed for lots of disasters. So we kind of need people who are going to design systems and techniques that will ensure that we understand what's happening now in our environment, but also just get a sense of what's coming in the futures. So we're not caught off guard when there are natural disasters. I think we're gonna go to the last page. Spa, you want to come in? I see you have your hand raised. Okay, I think, yeah, that hand has been taken down. Okay, this is the last slide. We are on point. I only had 30 minutes to finish the session. So these are just some of the emerging careers of the future. You can see that cybersecurity, data analysis, data science are up there. And mental health professions. So after COVID, you would have seen that there's a shift towards people requiring some assistance with mental health issues. So that's also coming up top. So, and obviously robotics, biotechnology, software developers, and machine learning specialists, and obviously now renewable energy is becoming, so obviously, so in renewable energy, we're going to talk things like nuclear, like solar energy, you know, hydrogen fuel cell energy. So if you go to SASO, for instance, we are decarbonizing and moving towards cleaner energy sources, you know. So for instance, solar energy is at the top of our list. We're even exploring hydrogen, green hydrogen energy. We're exploring nuclear energy as well. So there's lots of jobs in that aspect. And health professionals are still quite top in the list, you know, biotechnologists, engineers, you know, we are always going to need engineers, you know, data scientists, like I've said. Artificial intelligence obviously is a core discipline that's required, especially in engineering and other degrees, data science and all of that. So this is just in a nutshell, some of the emerging careers of the future. And I mean, it's very hard to, for instance, find a degree that covers, that will straight away take you to becoming a machine learning specialist. You would have to go through an engineering degree and then specialize, for instance, in machine learning or specialize in robotics, you know, and all of those. I see there's a hand from Victoria.
Ma'am, I'd like to ask, what is augmented reality?
Okay, so we've got what we spoke about, virtual reality. So I just want to maybe just start with virtual reality. If, for instance, let me just give you an example of what we do at SASO. We've got a mine. And sometimes when you do training, you need to take those trainees into the mine to train them. But now with the advent of augmented and virtual reality, you can create that environment and people can be trained in an actual training room setting, but you give them a sense of what they would experience if they were in that environment without necessarily going into the environment. So you kind of, so what we do is we take videos of what the artisans will do, you know, right at the bottom of the mine. And then we recreate a system, you know, like a video. And those trainees then only see this through the video, but it actually gives them some sense of reality of what happens underground without necessarily going underground. And we minimize, by that we sort of minimize having to take them underground if it's unnecessary. And they only go there when it's necessary for them to do so. So virtual and augmented reality go hand in hand. There's just a slight difference between the two, but they sort of bring you a reality of what would happen. So it's also both virtual and augmented reality is used now in automotive industries, you know. So they train their technicians using virtual and augmented reality specializations, so that you don't have to damage a car in the process of training those technicians on how to fix a car or on how to just improve the efficiency of the engine of a car. I don't know if there's any further questions, because I then just want to end off my talk with the fact that we have lots of bursaries at Sasol. So you must visit our website on bursaries called www.sasolbursaries.com. So we've got a range of bursaries. You will see we've got Sasol mainstream bursaries, we've got Sasol foundation bursaries, we've got Sasol mining bursaries, we've got Sasol energy bursaries. So there's really, the scope is really, really, really wide. I see there's a hand from Lela. Lela, you want to come in?
I think he's gotten shy.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. So let me just end off my talk by, I want to add to the very highly inspirational quotes from Lihle. So mine, it goes like, it says, you go big or you go home. Okay. I mean, your possibilities are endless. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, wow. Dr. Keke, thank you so, so much. You can actually tell you have such a passion for teaching and inspiring and just everything.